Hey everyone, welcome to Tomato Tours Tuesday. I'm Lauren, this is Tomato Head, and I did these every Tuesday live last year and even tried last week and didn't work out so well. I have pretty crappy Wi-Fi once I get outside my house. Even in the house, it's not always so great. So I'm recording this just a couple hours before you're going to see it, and then we won't have to worry about Wi-Fi going out or anything like that. So bear with me as I adjust and get used to. I don't know why I feel like it would be different. It's not any different. Just going to record and hope that all goes well, and not going to edit a thing, and we'll see how it goes. I do this every Tuesday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That would be 1 o'clock Pacific Time, 9 p.m. in the UK, 10 p.m. Central European Standard Time, I believe. So, and then as we go by the weeks, I won't be able to do the entire garden every week because we would be here all night. I'm going to try to keep these to an hour and see how it goes. Because I know my Thursday show, I have a live show on Thursdays called Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce, and that can go a couple hours. But I have fun, and you all seem to like it, so maybe you would with the garden tour too. But let's see what we can get done in an hour. There's a lot to showcase, so I don't need to show the entire garden week after week. I can like alternate. So let me show you what my setup here. Okay, so I am in rural western New Jersey, almost to the border of Pennsylvania. And we have about 1.5 acres of property. I wish I could take it all up with tomato beds, but alas, we would like some yard left. So when, God willing, we have grandchildren someday, they have a place to run around instead of tripping over beds. So these are 6 beds. Rob put in the first 2 years ago, and then 4 more last year. What we had as our original bed is over here. So that's always where we have planted beds. So I've numbered them. I've numbered the beds just to make my life easier when I'm planning out what variety goes where, and I do painstakingly go through what goes where. So starting in the far left there, that's bed 1, then 2, 3, and then the top there 4, 5, 6, and then this is bed 7. Bed 7, that's the original one. We've always had in-ground spots there, and we still do. It's hard to see past the grow bags, but we do have some in the ground. Like here, that's Ben Gantz, which has Cherokee Purple in the cross. Keena gave me seeds for that, I think. And Rob put paving stones in between years and years ago to keep the weeds out, which was genius. But once I started really going haywire, I realized that on those paving stones can be grow bags. So now we fit more than double the amount. So it would be an in-ground spot and a grow bag. And you'll see as we go through, not all the grow bags are the same. I'm kind of experimenting. I have for a few years, but some of these are 10-gallon grow bags. If it's a dwarf, they don't. Why aren't you looking at me, camera? You're supposed to do this. Okay. Doesn't want to take my video. I won't take it personally. Yeah, so I have always done 10-gallon beds for the indeterminates, and I do 5-gallon for dwarfs, but I'm playing around with some 3s and some 7s this year. So you will see that not all the beds have, or not all the tomatoes rather, have the same size grow bag. Last year I started, we've had these potato grow bags, I call them. I think they're meant for growing potatoes, and what I like about them is they're thin and tall. Let me show you what a full one. Well, you can see they're rolled down, and that's to add more soil up the stem, which if you've watched anything I do, you will know that I'm a big fan of that. And then I also found last year, I found these, that's a 7-gallon. And this specific brand, I think it's called iPower. They have tall skinny grow bags. So here's I think the potato ones are 10. So that's one fully rolled up. And this is a 7. So I'm messing around with those just to see. The back row, a couple of years ago, we started realizing, we call it death row, which I said during my live last week. We started realizing that all the in-ground spots just died. And I don't know if it has anything to do with this tree, which insists on planting baby trees in everything all over the yard, all over my grow bags. But last year, I think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, we just decided to make the entire back row grow bags and see how it does. And it did do better. Generally, I put cherries back here, but I had some extra spots to fill. So I've, especially with some of the rare varieties I'm growing, sometimes I'm growing a duplicate, which I don't normally do. But this year in particular, I have been quite paranoid about things happening, and I don't know why. I've had good luck over the years with tomato plants. Sometimes I lose 1 or 2 towards this, for whatever reason, but in general, not. But some of these varieties, like, let me show you an example. Here's one, Obama. I have one in one of the raised beds down yonder, but I had a duplicate plant, and this one's super duper rare, so I figured I will squeeze it in. So where do I start? I'm gonna have to figure out a rhyme or reason here. You would think that I planned this out ahead of time, and I did and I didn't. Let me start down where I rarely ever show because it's really far away from the Wi-Fi of our house, and it's a spot down here by Rob's shed. I started putting some smaller plants, smaller grow bags down here last year, because if you're a tomato head like me, you know that every inch of space is crucial. And so last year I put some mini dwarfs back here, kind of taller micros that get up to 2 feet, the shorter compact varieties. These are all in 3-gallon grow bags. As you can see, I still have many more to go, which I will be planting. But these are special varieties that I'm testing to see if they would be doable to grow in the house, or if they're just they needed a larger grow bag than 1 gallon, which is what I normally do my micros in. So it's a good spot to test those out. It doesn't get full sun all day. So last year I did Dwarf Micro Antho Pink Panther here, and Ginny, as well as some others. And they took a little bit longer to ripen, but not a big deal. So these first 2 are from a company called Farmsy. I think they're in Germany. I've got a bunch of their stuff planted over in the micro tower on the deck in the green stock. But these 2 are supposed to get quite a bit taller. So this one's called Redena. You can see it's got curly kale type thing, and this one does as well. Zolara. So those, I think they get to be about 2 feet, both of them. So I'll be keeping a good eye on that. This one is Blue Fruit. I got seeds for this from Common Sense Seeds, and I did feature it on my Thursday show. It gets to be, I think, about 2 feet, and it looks like it has sort of Cherokee purple type fruits on them. So I'm excited for that. Here's another one from Common Sense Seeds called Mato, M-A-T-O. See that? Instead of tomato. Here's one that Kina told me about, and she posted in the group recently, Poltava dumplings. Another one from Common Sense Seeds, Johnny Jump Up. They look small, but you have to remember I plant deep, so a lot of these, they look tiny up top, but there's a lot down below. Another one from Common Sense Seeds called Dontesk. I featured this on my show too. This one I got from Miche's Tomaten Vault from Germany, I think. It's called Damen Finger. What I'm going to try to do is, since I'll be watching live with you guys, I will try to put links in for some of these. If anybody has any interest in finding out more, I can put links in the comments. So that's one nice thing about not airing live, I suppose. Okay, on we go. This one is called Bozja Korovka, or Ladybug. This one, I think I got this from Tomato Eden. It's supposed to be a compact variety. It's called Easy Peasy. I don't remember where I got seeds for this mini dwarf, but it translates to pink fruit, but it's Rosavyi Frucht. And again, I don't remember where I got seeds for this. Maybe Kina, I'm not sure. Turbo Reactive Me. So obviously those transfer or translate to other things in English. So now maybe we can go look at the dwarfs. Oh, it looks like I got an Amazon delivery. Yes, I did. I'm such a geek, but I ordered straw. I needed more straw for my beds and my mulching. And I found a brand that I like. This thing doesn't want to film me. I don't know why. Yeah, I didn't have enough. And I wanted to get something that's like clean and organic, and I could get the hay or straw locally. But we've done that in the past, and so much grass pops up. So I think it's called Blue Mountain Farms. Let's go take a look. So as you can see, I've got straw underneath all the plants, but needed more to fill in the rows. This is the clean straw from this brand that I just ordered more from. Let's go take a look at the label. I think they're out. They're in America. Maybe it'll say on the box. But we're going to look at these dwarfs next. That's my dwarf alley. Blue Mountain Hay. There it is. Oops. Over here, Blue Mountain Hay. So hopefully this will be enough to do the rest of it. Blue Mountain Hay. Where are they from? Pacific Northwest. So there you go. BlueMountainHay.com. Oops. Okay, so let's take a look at some dwarfs. I did get the Blue Mountain Hay on Amazon, by the way. And I've gotten other hay before. I've got a thing of like mini straw where I'm putting in my grow bags, but I really liked the large hay, so that's why I'm going with that again. All right, let's take a look at our dwarfs here. For these, I don't have labels above them like I do with my other beds. Only because, well, I still might. I'm considering putting them on. I have them all labeled with my sticks here. This is Dwarf Shimmering Beauty. I should move these to the front to make my life easier. But the thing with these dwarfs and why I have them in grow bags is they're all different heights. So I'm thinking sometimes I may want to move them around. I generally don't. But I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a big deal to relabel. But for right now, they're not labeled. This is Dwarf Autumn Queen Golden. Isn't that a beauty? Thank you, Deb Toothaker, for those seeds. Very exciting. This is Dwarf 62208, a member from the Jarson Grow Out. Her Jarson died last year, but she submitted, this is a green one, right? And said that it's, I think it was Drew, said it was the best green she's ever had. I love greens, so I'm excited. This one is Burnt Sugar. Kina sent me the seeds from this one. It's a beauty. Has some nice flowers on it already. Already needed to kind of stake it to the fencing here. What is this one? Oh, this is called Electronic Dwarf. In fact, both of these are Electronic Dwarf. I got these from Lyudmila Kudzasova last year, and I didn't get around to planting them. But they look amazing. They're tricolor beauties. So I'm curious. I had extra seedlings. I put it in there, but it's a beautiful rugose short plant so far. This is Beefy Purple. Mark McCaslin from Frog's Leap Farm teamed up with AP Whaley, and they have the Cream of the Crop series. This is Cream of the Crop Beefy Purple. And Bill Yoder told me he grew it last year, and he said it's unbelievable. In general, Mark McCaslin varieties, all the breeders have such respect for the work he does, so that's good to know. What is this one? Dwarf awesome. Regrowing this one. Grew it 2 years ago, and it was, well, awesome. This is Full Moon Kiss. Ellie from Bunny Hop Seeds sent me seeds for this. It's a brand new one. It's a dwarf cherry, little yellowed cherries, and she said it's amazing. So I can't wait to grow that. This plant came from Jen. It's Mulatka dwarf. So thank you, Jen, if you're watching. And then we go around the corner here. Oh, these two are both a variety called Dwarf Wood. And you won't find information on it, most likely. I got seeds for this from Kirsten Madsen. And it stays small, 30 to 40 centimeters, apparently. And it puts out little log-shaped red fruits. So it's more like a micro, I think, at least. We'll see how tall it gets, but I'm excited to try those out and see what comes of them. This is one from Jen that is a mystery. There's 2 tags. Deaton Dwarf, oops, and Dwarf Awesome. So I'm curious to see what comes out. It will be very obvious because they're very, very different. But thank you, Jen. I've got a bunch of Jen plants. Here's a Nano's Meatball Dwarf growing for the 2nd year, and another one here. These put out one of the best tomatoes I've ever had in my life. They're very slow growing. I've heard many of you having issues with that too. And with germination, I haven't had issues with germination, but Secret Seed Cartel put these out and sort of admitted they're not necessarily stable. They had them out last year, but I loved this variety, and many of you grew it too, and you agree. Here is another one from Jen called Jack in the Box. Now, I've got 2 Jack in the Box growing. One is a dwarf, the one Jen gave me, and one is a variety from Ludmila Kudzasova. And it really doesn't want to film me. I'm like starting to take it personally. And they're both very different fruits. I think the one Jen gave me is technically called Jack in the Box Deans for Dean Slater. And the other one is, I'm trying to think. I did get it from Ludmilla, but I can't remember if it's for sale anywhere else. But either way, both of them look awesome sauce. So I'm looking forward to growing them. And Jen actually also gave me a Jill in the Box, which I didn't even know existed. So they are right next to each other. The other one's in my garden. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Okay, onward. A very small Alma's Century Pink from Bunny Hop Seeds. I wasn't going to grow it and then decided to at the last minute. You can see these other plants. I often plant radishes in the grow bags just because they're really quick to grow and it's a good spot for them. So if you see extras in any of these grow bags, that's what those are. So where should we go next? Do we go to the in-ground beds? Maybe we can stick to the grow bags for now and see how far we get. As you can see, there's the other straw I was talking about. That's good for grow bags and stuff. It's small, pretty much clean. I think it's organic. It says product of Canada on there, but I really like that stuff too. Okay, over here. This is kind of my planting station. So I'm still planting things. I've got a bunch of, I've got some micros in there. And then I've got an extra of a variety that's really rare that I want to plant somewhere. So generally, most of these are duplicates. And this is in front of my deck. And as you can see, I've got railing planters all around my deck. Some with micros, some with lettuce. It's a great way, and the green stalk over there, it's a great way to grow out. Since I'm breeding micros, you need to grow out a lot to kind of get things to stabilize and get them to the way you want. So those deck railing planters are super great, and they're great for lettuce too. Just try, if it's in the middle of this summer, I use a heat wave blend from Burpee that I really like. And I think that's one of Frank Morton's mixes right up where I'm pointing here. Okay, so this is my planting station. I go use the wheelbarrow and back back where we just were for the mini dwarfs. You probably couldn't see it. There's a wagon there now, but that is a big pile of old Fox Farm ocean forest soil. And what I do is I will reuse it, put it in the grow bags, but I amend it with things like worm castings, stuff's back there. I have Neptune's Harvest granulated kelp meal, Neptune's Harvest crab and lobster. Also my favorite Bigfoot, here it is. When I'm putting in the grow bags, I use the granulated version, but right now I was just fertilizing some of the grow bags, and I use this water-soluble version. I love, love, love their stuff. So it's kind of a mess back here, but not enough of a mess to not have some varieties to talk about. Okay, this is one of Sophia's. It's called Magic Rainbow, Sophia Sakova. For those of you that may not know, that's a duplicate. Here's a Sufferwell, one of Bill Yoder's varieties from his Depeche Mode collection, which came out last year. That tied with my favorite malachite box for my favorite tomato of all time. Here's an extra of Green Rhapsody, which is one of Zagallan's new ones. Looks great. Another one of Zagallan's new ones, Mordovian malachite. Here's another one of Sophia's. These are all extras. Chocolate Delight. So how can I possibly not plant extras of these things? It's impossible. Here's a couple, not really allowed to talk about. Yep, but isn't that a pretty plant? Jen gave me this plant. It translates to nobody steals. Nobody steals this, is that it? Nobody steals them. I've seen it translated a few ways, but it's Keener Stilt C. And it looks fantastic. It's a Greenland ripe, kind of a cherry, I think, or maybe a globe. This is a cross that I'm helping somebody grow out. This is another one from Jen called Dixville. Here's an extra full moon kiss. That's that dwarf yellow cherry I had over in Dwarf Alley. This is one called Dwarf Boyd Smith. Now these are, you can see the difference in the size of these right here. So that's a 7-gallon grow bag. Oh, sorry, that's a 10-gallon grow bag. That's a 7-gallon grow bag. That's a 5-gallon grow bag, and that is a 3-gallon grow bag. So I'm kind of just playing around with the variety. If I know it's not going to get too big, I will try putting it in a 3-gallon. But generally for dwarfs, I think you need at least 5-gallon. You can grow, and it will grow in something smaller. But if you want the best productivity, I think you want at least 5. Here's an extra almost century pink. I already talked about Dwarf Boyd Smith. Oh, this is one from Common Sense Seeds. It's a compact cherry called Muchacha. So excited for some of these mini dwarfs. Sometimes I will try to grow them indoors, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. All right, let's go to the front of my deck here. I still have a couple spots for things that have just recently started. Cherokee short steak is one of them that I can fit more spots in there. I will squeeze everything that I can. All right, this is an extra Tupelo honey. This is a new variety by Teresa Smith at Terra Nova Farms. Very grateful to Claudia, who sent me seeds, and Missy Smith, who sent me extras when a couple of mine didn't germinate. So I've got 2 plants of this, and I gave one to Jen too. Here's another Sophia that I'm super excited for. It's another extra, Chocolate Henry. Here I have an extra bacon lettuce, and this, for those of you that watch, you know, this is the best red tomato I've ever had. That is bred by Gary Fitzgerald, and it's amazing. So we're growing 2 plants of that again this year. Then we get into my cross. So I made a cross. Hang on. So last year I made a cross of malachite box, or Malachita vyashkatulka, and Dwarf Purple Heartthrob. And I was able to grow one plant, the F1 plant, in the house over the winter and got one fruit, but that's all you need to get seeds to start the F2s. And generally technically you want to grow 64 to get all the genetics. I'm not able to grow 64, but I'm growing a bunch and I'm going to see how it looks. I've squeezed a few into one grow bag. Some have one, but some have two, just to see what the fruits look like and the growth pattern. So I've got a bunch of plants here. Let's take a look. So here I've got two in one grow bag. This malachite box and Dwarf Purple Heartthrob F2 I have on there. I've got one little birdie. Two more in here. At least one of them is a dwarf. I may be getting more of them too, because some of them are much bigger than the others. So we will see. There's one for sure I know is a dwarf. Two more there, two more here. Here's one. I've got two more small ones in here. And then over here is the one that is obviously a dwarf, the way it's growing. So I'm excited to see. And after, as I continue to grow these out, they will likely be different tomatoes, because you can get a million different variants from one lone cross. And by the way, the F1 fruit was delicious. All right, where are we at here? This is Everett's Rusty Oxheart. That was a very late addition, just as of a couple weeks ago. During my Thursday show, I talked myself into this one. So it's a tiny little plant, but it'll be enough time. This I have an extra of Malachite Box Black. I actually had two extras and decided to grow them both because I'm very excited to see what comes out of that. That was a variant of regular Malachite Box that grew out to a purple at some point, and kind of a purplish black from what I can see in the pictures. Seeds are really not available, at least in my neck of the woods, so I'm hoping I have lots of seeds for that one. This is a duplicate for regular Malachite Box. Here I've got a duplicate of Bill Jeffers' Sugar Magnolia. That is a golden bicolor, and it has Malachite Box in the cross. This is Queen Nanny. And then over here, teeny tiny, a new one. Well, I guess it's not really new to me, from Tom Wagner. It's called Tulsa Thyme. This is a duplicate of it. I have one in my raised beds also. It has B times Macbeth in the cross. Super cool, right? Okay. Maybe we can do one or two beds over here and then call it a day. Let me see how long this is already. Hang on. Okay, despite it seeming like I am talking nonstop, and I know I am, looks like it's only 30 minutes so far. It definitely goes faster when you're not answering live chat messages trying to get internet service too. But I will be there watching the premiere with you guys, and I can answer any questions you might have about any of the varieties that sound intriguing to you or that you'd like more information about. I can put links in the chat, and I hope that this works out better. I think it will. So I'm recording this right now. It's probably an hour and a half before the premiere. So that's the other thing. I have to hope that I can get it uploaded by the time, so maybe I won't go too much longer. But let's go look at some more. All right, let's go to the Sophia bed. This is the one I'm most excited about this year. What the heck? Sorry, something just popped up on. Oop, hang on. Something weird's just popping up. I don't need a tutorial right now. What's going on? Come on. All right, I think we're good now. Good grief. All right, so this is bed 3, because it's 1, 2, 3, and then back there 4, 5, 6. Oops, 4, 5, 6. This is bed 3, and last year this was my Jarson bed. Last year I was all about the different Jarson crosses, and they were wonderful. I did about a bed and a half. I did bed 3 and 6 of Jarsons, and I pretty much got the same with Sophia Sakova's varieties. I wrote to her many months ago. I sent her an email and asked if I could buy some of her varieties. And she was so kind. She said, unfortunately, she can't sell to the United States. But she said she'll send me a few varieties. And it turned out she sent me more than a few, and pretty much all the varieties that I wanted of hers that you can't find at Tomato Eden or Lux Tomatoes or anything yet. I'm sure, positive, after this season they will have them. But for right now, I'm excited. I was able to give a few seeds away to some of you out there. You guys know who you are. Sometimes only 1 or 2 seeds. But I'm excited to share this experience with you all because her varieties are like Bill Yoder's varieties, and they look like art. So let's see what we've got here. So here I've got the tags. I've got these. I started getting these a couple years ago. Had them on the in-ground bed, and they just work out really well, and I can put the label on both sides so I know what I'm dealing with. I put them up high, even though for tours right now, down low would be better, but they grow so fast, up high is just beneficial to me in general. And I do still have the regular in-ground tags going too. I'm very, very anal about labels and just assume that I will lose them, even though I never do. Because driving or growing something that I don't know would drive me crazy. Except for the dwarf Jen gave me. That'll be easy to figure out. Okay, so this one is one of Sophia's. It's an F6 called Alaskino Heart. As you can see, it's a bit wispy. It's got some nice flowers on there. A lot of her varieties are wispy because she has a lot of hearts. This is one I'm so excited about called All the Colors of the World. That is also an F6. This one's called Captivating Heart. This is also an F6. This is Chocolate Delight, another F6. When I say F6, what I mean is when you make a tomato cross, you need to count generations. So you make the initial cross, and the tomato, you save seeds from one tomato. It's not going to look any different from what it would normally look like. That's the mother plant. And you take the pollen from the father plant, the daddy plant. And then the next generation, you grow out seeds from that tomato, and that will be your F1. That is your initial cross. And then you continue stabilizing. You grow a lot of plants like I talked about a few minutes ago, and you continue to choose tomatoes or that have growth habit you like, coloring you like, perhaps disease resistant. So every generation that goes out is F whatever. So these F6s I'm talking about mean that this is 6 generations, which is technically not super stable yet. They often talk about F8 being the magic number, maybe F7. But Sophia on her website is very open about the fact that there may be splits, which means what you see in the picture may not be what you get. So that's what I mean when I'm saying F6. I have at least one F1. Yeah, I'm growing Sun Green 4029. That's an F1. And then my cross from this year, the one I've done so far, I'm making more this year. Those are all F2s, so I have a ways to go with that. So that's what I mean with these F whatever numbers. Okay, back to our regular scheduled program. So that was Chocolate Delight. Oh, I've got something else new this year. Rob just put this up a couple weeks ago. He took some of the cattle panel from the fencing and he made, I don't know how well it's going to come out here, but he made a beautiful arch. And I've wanted one of those so you can grow climbing things. So it closes off that side of that bed and this side of that bed, but the other side's open, so that's fine. And then I've planted some pole beans of different colors that will climb that in no time. And you can do anything climbing, flowers, whatever. So Mr. Tomato Head is very good to me, and it's fun doing this stuff with him. And I'm lucky that he doesn't kill me because I'm a crazy person. But there you go. He married me 30-something years ago, 33. Okay, this is Chocolate Henry, one we already looked at in a grow bag. That was the extra beautiful potato leaf plant. Nice flower on there already. It's so sunny, I can't see what I'm showing, but there's a flower. This is very tiny. Where'd it go? Right here. Where is it? I can't see it. It's here somewhere. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. There's it. The sun's in my eyes. I can't see it. But this, there we go. That is a purple ruffle lettuce basil, which I grew last year and was great. All right, so that is Chocolate Henry. Go in here. This is the stuff that I need to put more straw down. Oh, by the way, in between tomatoes, I tried this last year for the first time. In between the plants, just in between there and there, I plant carrots. And it worked out really well. I don't tend to get the carrots until late in the season because the tomatoes grow so fast that it takes some of the sun. But towards the end of the season, I'm gifted, and I do this in every bed. Not in these rows, but just in between the two plants. It works out great. Turns out carrots love tomatoes, which I think is a book. All right, what do we have here? This is Emerald Comet. Where'd it go? Come on. I'm going to come down here. Emerald Comet Sophia, which is also an F6. This one here is Fiery Turban, another rare one that she sent me. It's also an F6. And this little guy is Green Heart of Sophia, another F6. At the end of some of the rows, I have peppers, and then my beautiful African, oops, where are we going here? African blue basil plants. I've taken cuttings from a whole bunch of plants and have a lot of it stuck in each bed. I've never seen anything go to pollinators like that basil. It's tremendous. This pepper is Giant Sweet Devil's Horn, and Bill Yoder told me that this is the best pepper he's ever had. It's like an orange, I think it's like an Italian frying pepper. It sounds like it would be hot, Giant Sweet Devil's Horn, but it is not. I'm excited for that. Got those seeds from Bunny Hop Seeds. That's one of her varieties. Okay, this is Riddle of Strawberry Waterfall from Sophia. Very excited for that. No generation listed. I think this may be a first, like a split from Strawberry Waterfall. So I'm growing 2 plants. I can't wait to see what we get. Over here we have Ochre Symphony. Oh boy, was I excited for this one. I have 2 plants of Ochre Symphony. Ochre Veil has been available for a while, but Ochre Symphony is not, and it looks outstanding. This is Maple Heart. I've got 2 leads going for this one, meaning 1 stem, 2 stem. A lot of these varieties, when you get from a vendor, they'll say optimal with 2 or 3 stems. Sometimes they happen by accident. This one did, but I didn't trim it. So technically, and I did a video on this a couple years ago, technically you can cut, like I would cut this one off because it's sort of a sucker. I would cut this one off, put it into soil, and you can root a brand new plant. But you have to be, you can't just do that with any of the side shoots. It's got to be a sucker, and you can easily tell by the fur that grows along. May not be the best shot. I've already got 1 sucker going for this, so I could actually do it with this one too, but I'm not going to. I think I already have 2 plants of this, so no need, unless I give one to Heidi if she wants it. We shall see. Magic Rainbow. This is an F5. I have 2 plants of this going also. These signs are great. I love them. If anybody's interested in those, let me know and I will send you the link. They're from Amazon. I searched and searched for the right ones for me and found them. Okay. Sweet tropical pear. This is an F6 from Sophia. Beautiful, nice, bright green leaves. Everything looks so healthy so far. This is strawberry sherbet, another rare one that she isn't widely released at this point. This is an F6. I do have a sucker plant going up on my deck, just in case. This is that Togolese hoary basil. Somebody on my live show, or I think on the garden tour last week, somebody commented on how it is a painfully slow grower. And if this tells you anything, I concur completely. It grows at a snail's pace. But I can't wait. That's the one that's supposed to taste like juicy fruit gum. So very curious about that one. That is a new release from Experimental Farm Network, who I adore. This one's sparkling purple oganek. I think oganek translates to light, so it's also known as sparkling purple light. That is an F6. And I'm super excited. I mean, I'm excited for all of Sophia's, but there's some I'm just crazy excited for. This is one of them. This is rose gold. It's an F5. Absolutely gorgeous when you look at the picture of it on Sophia's site. You can see I've got a lot of suckers coming on some of these. Like here's a sucker that I will probably just take off. Don't need suckers down there. Nothing is going to grow down there. And as you can see from looking at all of my plants, I trim everything so nothing's hitting the ground. And for a while, I do prune suckers off, but then once they get really big and out of control, I do not. I've got very small zinnia starts in the corners of a lot of these beds. And then this beauty is the variegated borage, which is decorated with some bird poop. That's actually not as variegated as they can get. Here's a beauty. So borage I plant, you guys probably know that I am a big proponent of planting borage. It is well known that borage, oh, my hair's just lovely, look at that, that borage deters tomato hornworms. And since, this is rough, when I turn it around, I may have to fix that magic. It deters hornworms, and I'm convinced it works. We haven't had hornworms in a few years since starting this, and you're left with beautiful flowers that are edible, but a beautiful plant and no hornworms. So I highly recommend it. I fixed it, magic. All right, why don't we do one more bed? Which one do we do? Well, I'll start at bed 6 since there's more Sophia's planted in there. So let's go. Okay, so at least the first row, and I think a little bit of the second row is still Sophia varieties. This one here is Sweet Truffle Heart. This one's available widely, I think. This year, I mean. Temptation of Sophia. This one's also available widespread. I know many of you are growing this one. This one is not yet anyway. This is Triumph of Sophia. I think I have 2 plants going of this, maybe 3. But boy, does this one look, well, triumphant. It really does when you look at pictures of it. Got some nice flowers on here. I did start my plants later than usual, which is why some of my plants may look smaller than what you have or other garden tours you've seen, but that was very intentional. They all catch up together. So in this bed, there's a mixture of start weeks, and if you give it 2 more weeks, there won't be any difference between them. It's really just the soil temperature. Starting early does not necessarily mean early tomatoes. That is something I took me a very, very long time, a couple decades to figure out. What do we have here? This is Victoria Salute. This plant is from Jen. My 2 starts both kicked the bucket. And I, me being cocky, thought I can save any plant, but alas, I could not. Kina's died too, and I know many of you also had them. So Jen actually gave me 2 plants. The extra one I may still plant, but thank you, Jen. It looks nice and healthy. I don't know what the issue is with that variety, but It's a pain in the butt. Oh, over here, I'm didn't finish planting yet, but my friend Nicole gave me, these are called California buttercups. Aren't they pretty? I'm in the process of planting those. This is a pepper that Jen gave me called Godzilla. All my other peppers, well, they're interspersed in some of the beds, but my other peppers are down in that bed down there. I'll have to do a pepper tour at some point. My peppers in general didn't do that well this year. I think I shared in last week's tomato tour that you know, I was experimenting with soil. I put them in Fox Farm Ocean Forest, which I've done for years and had great results. But I think my peppers didn't do well for two reasons. One is what I used to start them was a bit different. I used Bootstrap Farmer, which I love, but I used the 2-inch pots, and I've I love Bootstrap Farmer. I hate to say anything bad about them, but I have come to realize that those pots really stink. I do start my micros in them, but they just don't have the ability for air pruning like their 6 cells do. I love their 3x3-inch pots that came out last year, but the 2x2, I think I'm going to start my peppers in the 3x3 next year. And then once I moved them to Happy Frog soil, the peppers thrived. So perhaps it's because Fox Farm Ocean Forest, it's great for tomatoes in my opinion, and I'm currently working on come on, come back. I'm currently working on a video that's testing a few soils, Happy Frog Ocean Forest and a Pro Mix, and it's going to be a long experiment, not a long experiment, but I'm going to see which ones do better for tomatoes. And yeah, so it's a little too early. We have germination on 2 out of the 3, the Ocean Forest and the Pro Mix. I'll have to check to see if the Happy Frog, why does it want to get me down here? Come here. I want to be up here. And if I touch the screen, tells what I want a video. I don't know. So anyway, so my peppers in general didn't do well. I was able to save some of them, like the shishitos and that giant sweet devil's horn, and a number of them. Some of them are super small, but Jen was kind enough to give me a bunch of sweet pepper plants. So for that, I'm very grateful. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, now this is not a Sophia. Is anything in this row? Yeah, the first 2, the last 2 over there will be Sophia. That's it. This is Prune Iberipuera. I'm going to come around here. See a bit. Oh, and this plant Jen gave me, it's a crown daisy. Isn't that pretty? And here I've got shishitos that I started, and they're looking just fine. Yeah, Prune Iberipuera. Over here is Painted Piglet. That's not a Sophia either. Excited for that one. Go over here. Tayindy, Tayindy. Here's another Sugar Magnolia. That's the Bill Jeffers variety that I had in a grow bag that I showed earlier. That's got malachite box in lacrosse. Many other things too, but that's one of them. This is Stella del Sol, a white one from Switzerland that I'm so excited about. My friend Sabine ordered me seeds for that. This one over here is one of Sophia's that I started much later. It's called Cherry Stripes. And this is, I showed you in a grow bag, the second one. This is Mordovian Malachite. And this one is Bliss, another one of Sophia's. Both of those, or Bliss and Cherry Stripes, have been out for at least a year at this point, but I still wanted to grow them. Okay, and over here, here's another one. I mentioned Tulsa Thyme earlier. That's Tom Wagner's cross, which has B times Macbeth in it. And that's a larger one. I wanted to see how it did. I really have no information on it at all, other than it's got B times in the cross. So I wanted to put it in a raised bed just to see how tall it gets. Right now, it's staying pretty compact. So we shall see. Here's my main plant for Tupelo honey. Looking nice and healthy, has some nice flowers on it. Twilight Tricolor. Jen gave me this plant because I was shocked at myself for not growing it, and she happened to have extra. And last one translates to Southern Evening. It's Yuzhnivyvecher. And I had been wanting that plant for a while. Beautiful, beautiful plant. Some nice flowers on there too. There they are, lots of nice flowers. I wanted to show you one more thing before we end for today. So about 2 weeks ago, I noticed that my plant for Hazel Creek, the one that Mike Williams gave so many of us, that it got topped somehow, which means the top came off. So you would think there's no way to grow this plant now. But I do have some extras, and I've got a potato leaf version too. There's different, let me get this up here. Some of us are getting, somehow I just took a picture of myself. Okay. Some of us are getting regular leaf. Some of us are getting potato leaf. Right back up here. No, I can't. So I've got a regular leaf over here. I gotta show it, hang on. So I've got a regular leaf over here in bed number 2, and it got topped. And so all that was here as of like a week ago was this one side shoot and the main stem. But as you can see, this is where the top fell off, and I've got suckers growing up there and off to the side. They really don't count tomatoes out. They are so resilient. So this plant will live on despite being topped. So sometimes things happen, weather. Thought I lost a few plants a few years ago from a late frost, but they're so resilient, and they will make up. They say, I don't have a top, we'll make a new top. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 new suckers that came out of that. Rock on. All right, so I'm going to end it there for today. So now I'll be able to know that we did the grow bags in the front of the house and the deck, and in Dwarf Alley, and down there by the shed. And I don't like the angle of this thing. What I keep talking about is this. It's called a stabilizer. You put your phone in there, and it's supposed to reduce you guys feeling nauseous. As I'm doing a garden tour, it doesn't make it so bouncy, but it has like an app, and it works off of an app, and it doesn't seem to want to take any angle with me other than close up like this. I don't know what to do. I'll have to research more. Maybe if I hold it down here. Oh, maybe that's the issue. Sure, now I figured out at the end of the tour. And we did bed 3 and 6. So next week, maybe we can work on the in-ground bed. I've also got 4 more beds here, but regardless, each week I will be showing you new stuff. And I thank you for joining me. Sorry it's not live, but I'll be there watching live with you all. Peace, love, get your gratitude on, and go grow tomatoes. Bye, everybody.